Hi everybody, my name is Dave Marsh. I'd like to welcome you to this Matrix version 6.7 hot sheets tutorial. Now before I begin, I'd like to mention that because each MLS has slightly different requirements, the system that we'll be using during this tutorial may differ slightly from the one that you're currently working with. Nevertheless, the functionality is the same, and for the most part, whatever you see during this tutorial, you'll easily recognize in your own system. Now I'm going to take for granted that everyone knows how to log into the system, so we'll start by inserting our user ID and our password, then click Login to begin. All right, today we're going to take a look at running a hot sheet as well as how to customize a hot sheet. And we're going to divide this tutorial into two parts. In the first, we're going to take a look at how to run one of the default hot sheets. Next, I'm going to show you how to customize and save your own hot sheet from scratch. But first off, what is a hot sheet? By default, a hot sheet displays all listings in the entire system that are either new or have had any type of status change. Now typically, you'll probably be most interested in the changes since the last time that you ran your hot sheet. But as we'll see in a moment, hot sheets can also be customized to display changes on either a specific date or date range. So let's begin by running a residential hot sheet. But before I do that, I'm first going to ensure that New Only is selected from my drop-down list. And this is because I'm really only interested in displaying any residential listings that have had a status change since the last time I checked. All right, so when I click this property type, I see that there are 7 listings that are either new or have had a status change since the last time I ran the residential hot sheet. More specifically, I can now see what each of the individual listing changes were. Returning to the home page, you'll notice that if I were to run this hot sheet again, there are no results. And this is because there hasn't been any new residential listings or status changes since we just checked a few moments ago. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we also have some additional time frame options to choose from. For example, if I'd like to see all new or changed listings since the last time I ran the residential hot sheet in a previous matrix session, I would select this session, then click the residential property type link. And what we see is that there have been 18 new or changed listings since I recently logged into the system. Breaking it down, this includes those original 7 listings since I last ran the residential hot sheet, plus an additional 11 that have appeared in the last minute or so. Taking a look at some of the remaining options, we see that we can also run a hot sheet from the past 24 hours, today only, the past 3 days, the past 7 days, and finally during a custom period of time. So while most of these don't require any additional explanation, let's further explore custom. And when I click the residential property type, a modal pop-up appears requesting when I would like to run this hot sheet for. By choosing the date option and then clicking on the calendar control icon, I'm able to run a hot sheet since any date I choose within the past 30 days. Again, this will display all new and changed listings since that date. You'll also notice that beneath the date option, I can display new or changed listings that have occurred during an exact time today, or a time range. So again, just to recap, to run any hot sheet, we first need to select a time frame from the drop-down list. Then click on whichever property type that you'd like to display. So now for the second part of this tutorial. I'm not really interested in all the new or changed listings in the entire system. I'm really only interested in listings that have had a price increase or decrease in my area. To show this, I'm going to have to customize the criteria to display only the results that matter to me. And we'll do this by first clicking on the Customize link, and then I'm going to select which of the current property types that I'd like to modify. And remember, because my intention is to only display listings that have had a price change, I'll need to edit my criteria. And then I'm going to select the price decrease and price increase from the status options. Next, I'm going to limit the results to only display listings that have had a price change within a specific area. And I could do this either by entering a general area into any of these fields, or I can click this link and use the map shape tools to draw a very specific area on the map. All right, if there's no additional criteria to add, click on Save, and your new custom residential hotsheet has been created. So now, whenever I run a residential hotsheet, it will only show me listings that have had either a price increase or a decrease in my area. Now, you may have noticed that in addition to customizing one of the existing property types, we can also create a brand new hotsheet of our own. To do this, the process is exactly the same as modifying the residential hotsheet from earlier, except this time, instead of clicking the Edit Criteria button, we're first going to select a hotsheet property type and then click Add. At this point, we can either choose a different property type or simply name our new hotsheet. We'll call this one Commercial New, but it's still an exact duplicate of the default commercial hotsheet. So we're going to have to edit this one by once again clicking on the Edit Criteria button, selecting our criteria, then clicking Save. So now when I run my new customized hotsheet, it only displays the one new commercial listing that has appeared during the past 24 hours in my selected area. All right, so now it's time for the bonus part of this video tutorial. Now by default, most systems limit the number of hotsheets in your homepage widget to 10. But with this little trick, I'm going to show you how to create and save as many custom hotsheets as you'd like. And we'll do this by simply saving each as a saved search. So let's begin by first clicking Customize, and then by selecting one of our property types to customize. Or we could create a brand new one like we did earlier. But for now, we're just going to edit our residential criteria. And for this example, we're going to keep it simple and assume that I'm only interested in displaying new residential listings. For our period, let's say 3 days, so that when we run this hotsheet, we only see the new residential listings for the past 3 days. Now, assuming the saved number of hotsheets in my homepage widget is already at capacity, which again is 10 by default, I'm now going to save this additional hotsheet by first clicking Save on the button bar and then clicking New Save Search. And in this case, I'm going to call it Hotsheet New Residential 0-3. And this is a name that's going to help me easily identify it again in the future. And to make this more easily accessible, you may also want to include this hotsheet as one of your 10 favorite searches on your home page. But if not, your saved hotsheet will still be available with the rest of your saved searches under the My Matrix tab. All right, returning to the home page, we now see our additional hotsheets conveniently located in the My Favorite Searches widget. And again, you can create and save as many additional hotsheets as you'd like, but by default, you can only save up to 10 searches in the My Favorite Searches widget. The rest, as you know, will be saved to the Save Searches section found under the My Matrix tab. All right, well, this concludes our Matrix hotsheet tutorial. I'd like to thank you for watching and hope that you can join me for another session. Take care.